Hi everybody! Welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. Well, today is August 1st and it is a really special day. Today is the very start of this year's Every Bit Counts challenge, which is a preservation challenge that was created by my friend Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead a couple years ago. She created this challenge to encourage people to really maximize every single day in one of the busiest months of the harvest season in August, to challenge ourselves to preserve something every single day in the month of August. Many of us that have gardens, whether that is large or small, we have big preservation days where we spend the entire day canning. But we don't always have entire days for canning or preserving. But if we would take advantage of the 10 or 15 minutes that we do have available on the other days, imagine at the end of 1 month how much more we could have preserved and put up for the rest of the year for our families if we just took advantage of those small pockets of time. We would have a bunch more preserved by the end of 30 days. And that is what this challenge is all about. And some of us don't produce large volumes, large quantities of produce in our gardens all at one time to have big preserving sessions. We may just get a little bit of harvest here, a little bit of harvest there. And this challenge encourages us to just do that small batch canning, small batch freezing, whatever it is, because in the end, every bit counts. Every bit adds up and is so useful over the winter and over the rest of the year. Because August is such a productive month throughout the country, throughout the United States, with gardens, August is the perfect time to have this challenge. I'm talking to you today about it because I am going to participate in the challenge this year and I'm very excited. In this challenge, you can use any kind of preservation method, whether that's canning, freezing, freeze drying, dehydrating, water glassing, fermenting, smoking. Any way that you can preserve food is fair game for this challenge, and I really encourage you to try it. Also, this challenge doesn't have to just be for gardeners. It doesn't have to be just preserving the food that you have coming out of your garden. If you think about maybe what you have in your freezer or what you have in the refrigerator that maybe could be preserved in a different form that would last longer or stay good longer, that also counts in this challenge. And I'll give you an example. I have quite a few beef bones from when we had one of our cows butchered. I have beef bones in the freezer. Now, those bones in the freezer will only be good for like a year or two before they start to taste a little bit different. So I hope to be able to bring some of those bones out of the freezer and turn them into broth. And then I can either can that broth or freeze dry that broth, which will make that last longer. Similarly, I have fat from our pigs and fat from a beef cow that I can render that down into lard or tallow, jar it up, and that is a more usable form of that fat for me, and I can keep it in the refrigerator or I can keep it in the freezer for longer term storage, and that basically turns from one unusable thing in the freezer to something that's very useful to our family. And so those are other creative ways, creative ideas to take advantage of this challenge. Do you have frozen tomatoes in your freezer still from last year that you thought maybe you'd get around to and you just haven't? Now's a great time to pull those out, thaw them out, and turn them into sauce. Do you have eggs on the counter that you're not eating fast enough? Now's the perfect time to learn about water glassing, and those eggs could potentially last for another year if stored properly. Butter could be made into ghee, milk could be made into cheese. So many options and opportunities to preserve something in the month of August for the Every Bit Counts challenge. I think one of the most fun parts of the Every Bit Counts challenge is that so many people share their progress. And I plan on sharing one video a week that will kind of recap everything that I have preserved throughout the week. I also hope to post on Instagram and Facebook every day, at least one photo and explanation of some of the things that I've been working on every day. Not only do you get great ideas from following other people who are participating in the challenge, but it's also kind of a sense of accountability that you are making the commitment and you show up every day to show, hey, I'm doing what I said I was going to do. And at the end of the week, for me and for other people who are on YouTube, are going to consolidate those days into a weekly video to share it with whoever is interested in seeing what we've done throughout that week. The way that you can follow other people who are participating in the challenge is to follow the hashtag EveryBitCounts. If you follow that hashtag and look it up, then you'll be able to see everybody else on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube who's participating and posting either videos or posts or whatever, and you can get great ideas. I've actually just today gotten some great ideas, new ideas from Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead that I'm really hoping to implement this year. So I'm super excited about that. And while I'm talking about Jessica, I do encourage you to check her out, Three Rivers Homestead, on YouTube and on Instagram. She posts every day, not just about this challenge, but every day about her family, about homesteading, about faith. It is a wonderful YouTube channel and a wonderful Instagram account. I am every day encouraged by her. Okay, the last thing I want to talk with you about before I go is how to kind of manage this challenge without becoming completely overwhelmed. And when I think about preserving something every single day, and maybe multiple things per day for an entire month, I just have a hard time kind of wrapping my mind around how I'm going to get it all done. Well, what am I going to do? How am I going to manage things that take multiple days? Or how many one-day projects can I get done? And all that kind of thing. So I wanted to just kind of review with you what I have done to make the thought of this challenge a little bit more manageable for me. The first thing that I did was I walked around my greenhouse and my garden, and I wrote down all of the things that I knew would be ready for harvest within that month. So tomatoes, beans, cucumbers, okra, peppers, and then off the top of my head, I started writing next to them the ways in which I will preserve them, or that I normally preserve them. So I just kind of have a running list of not only the things to preserve, but what I'm gonna do with them. It just helps me to write those things down. Then I actually went into my freezers, looked in my freezers for things that, you know, I could turn them into something else and extend their basic shelf life. You know, like I had said before, the bones into broth and the fat into rendered usable lard or tallow. I wrote those things down too, so that I have all of those ideas and all of those basically ingredients that I need to deal with. And then I looked at my list of ideas of things to preserve, and I kind of categorize them in length of time that they would take to process them or to preserve them. That way I have an idea that day or that week that, you know, I have on Wednesday, I have a bunch of appointments, but I've got a list of these things that I could get done in a matter of 10 or 15 minutes. But this list over here, I need to plan a full day. So what full day do I have available this week that I could get this project done? It's just kind of helped me manage my schedule, manage the thought of preserving something every day, and just to write things down in lists and kind of categorize them. So that's the way I'm going to manage this schedule for myself, and I hope that maybe these ideas can help you too and make it seem a little bit less overwhelming and a little bit more doable, because it totally is. So you guys, I hope you join me in this year's Every Bit Counts challenge, and I also hope that you check out the creator of this challenge, Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, and get lots of ideas from her and all the other fantastic people that are going to join us in this challenge. We'll see you every day this month on Instagram and Facebook, and once a week where I combine all of the things, footage of all of the things that I have preserved in that week into a video, which you can see on Saturdays. Until next time, guys, thanks so much for stopping by the homestead. Take care and God bless.